Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing Brian and Charles, directed by Jim Archer and starring David Earl, Chris Hayward and Louise Brealey. Brian and Charles is a mockumentary about a man called Brian. He lives on a remote island and decides to build himself a robot called Charles to keep him company. But before we go any further, could you be a dear? Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. If enough of you do it, I can quit my day job and you can make my dreams come true. Not all heroes wear capes. Some of them just press the subscribe button. And of course, we thank you if you do. So getting straight into what I liked about Brian and Charles. This movie was aggressively adorable. It was so heartfelt and calm. It's a real loving nature and tone to this movie from start to finish. It's one of those movies that will soothe your soul. I also really liked the humour. It's very British, it's very dry. Even I have to admit, I liked the humour, but not every joke landed. There were a few failed attempts. It's very David Brent-esque or Alan Partridge. It's very dry, it's very quick-witted, it's quite quirky and off-kilter. So I don't know if it's going to work for everybody, but personally it had me smiling and sniggering the whole way through. I also liked how nonchalant the film was. It feels kind of aimless, to be honest with you. There really isn't much plot going on here. What I said in the synopsis, that is the plot. But it really is about the relationship of Brian and Charles and how they interact with each other and how they came into each other's lives. So no, it's not tripping over its own feet with a complicated plot or anything like that, but it really does have a lot of heart and humanity to it. There is a strange relatability to the movie. Everyone at some point in their life has felt lonely, and therefore I feel like everyone can connect to this film on some level, and you can't help but fall in love with the characters in this movie, in particularly Brian. He is the most downtrodden optimist you will ever meet, and I think this is a really understated but brilliant performance by David Earl. It isn't easy to act like an awkward person and to do it convincingly and make it seem natural to this character that you're playing. This is how they are. They're a little bit clumsy in places. They talk to themselves. There's lots of little mannerisms and tics that you need to be aware of with a performance like that. And honestly, I thought David Earl could have done it in his sleep. He makes it look effortless in this film. It's sensational acting from the guy. But as much as I absolutely love this film and wish I could talk about the positives for longer, my critic brain has to turn on and acknowledge there are some flaws with this film. The big one being, it's really predictable. You do know exactly how this is all going to go down after about 20 minutes of watching it. You've figured it out. And the film is actually only 90 minutes long, which you'd think is great. That's a real short and sweet running time. And yet somehow the film still managed to feel too long. And I think it's because of its lack of plot that I mentioned, that the film can feel aimless at times, that we are just sometimes going for a walk or going to the shop or sitting at home and eating dinner. That's what makes the film feel longer than it actually is, that it's not going anywhere. Because physically it isn't, but emotionally it is. I also think there's a few bits and pieces that could be better explained. For example, the robot has an obsession with cabbage. I don't know why. I have no idea what that's come from, what's caused that. I assume it's played up as a joke and it's just not the funniest joke the film has to offer. But yeah, I genuinely want to know, what's that all about? And my final flaw for the movie is that there is an antagonist and he's just not needed. Not only is he over the top, but he just doesn't really fit into the film. And had he not been here, it could have been a much smoother ride. I'm going to give Brian and Charles an 8 out of 10. This is a charming, heartfelt movie that I truly hope people go and check out and give it a chance. It's got such a kind spirit and nature to it that you will just feel happy and at peace having watched this. It's got a great performance from David Earl that I think deserves a lot more credit than I think it's going to get. It is unique, it is quirky, it will warm your soul, but it does feel strangely meandering and predictable with an antagonist that just isn't needed. This is one of those movies where in my heart of hearts, I really, really want to put this in my top 10 of the year, but the critic in me is saying, you can't you saw better than this. So I'm stuck in this strange limbo of absolutely loving this movie, but not quite being able to put it up on the pedestal that I want to. It might not be the best thing I've seen this year, but it's certainly one of my favourite things I've seen this year. That's the best way to put it. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, and please do hit the comment section as well. Have you seen Brian and Charles? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.